This is Dabu7. An update to the situation that we're facing here in the US. If you missed the last video, there has been an alert put out in terms of a fuel shortage and a massive cyber attack that hit the largest pipeline in the United States. They have now, through the Department of Transportation and their Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, they have issued a regional emergency declaration for 17 states and Washington, D.C. Now, this is to keep the fuel supply lines open. Now, if you don't know, Colonial here carries 45% of fuel supplies into the eastern part of the United States of America. And they are not stating that they expect to see prices rise here in the coming days, but if this continues into next week, they will for sure expect to see prices start to rise. Now, right now, this emergency declaration covers Alabama, Arkansas, D.C., Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia. They go on to state that Friday night's cyber attack is the most significant, successful attack on our energy infrastructure that has ever been known here in the United States. So this is big time and one to keep an eye on. Join me for the live.
So apparently, there's been a pipeline cyber attack. Again, shortage on the East Coast. And of course, as usual, there's mass panic, hysteria. Traffic backed up for miles. Pandemic part 2. Stay tuned, East Coast. Florida chicken egg.
Alright, Shalom. This is Harwan Ban Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Bahashim Hawashai, Bahashim Harakah Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, and Akwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. As we know, there's a current gas shortage going on around the world, or mainly on the east coast of America. I'm going to read this article I got off the Bloomberg. It says, gas stations run dry as pipeline races to recover from hacking. All right, so there's obviously what they call a Cold War or a cyber war. All right, a cyber Cold War going on between these major countries. All right, you have countries like China, Russia, and Iran announcing openly that they're in a cyber war or proxy war or economical war against America. And when these things happen, it can be a cause for war, a physical war. So I'm gonna read down on this article. Cause you got Jakes with all these cars, they get all their rims, they living it up here in America. They get these jobs. There's nothing wrong with having these things, but they love that. They love silver. They love money and wealth more than they love the Creator, the Most High. All right. So now it says this Bloomberg, gas stations along the U.S. East Coast are beginning to run out of fuel as North America's biggest petroleum pipeline races to recover from a paralyzing cyber attack that has kept it shut for days. So it's been shut down for days. All right, and it's like a system. You put a little space in that system, it's gonna show in the end. All right, the results, the numbers. All right, so they took a loss, and now the loss is going to be shown at the pumps. The price is going to go up. All right, because of the demand for gas, and these companies that buy the gas, there's not going to be any for them to buy. All right, so that's what you're going to have. It's going to the companies that buy the petroleum, from this major company that's holding where is it at? North America's biggest petroleum pipeline. You know, all the companies that buy from it, they're going to pay more to get the petroleum. So by them doing that, they're going to charge more to the customers. All right, and that's where you have what they call a gas shortage, where it's going to cause what panic, mass hysteria, like that guy was saying, man. Long lines of cars. You know, Jake dying to slave for Esau. All right. So what they're doing, they're applying pressure, and it could be from those what you call the hidden government, the elites. All right. It says from Virginia to Florida and Alabama, states are reporting that they've sold out of gasoline as supplies in the region dwindle and panic buying sets in. All right, just like it does during the hurricane or when they said the pandemic was happening. You go to the store, you go to the pumps, and they were empty. All right, so you had to hurry and get a gas can. All right, so that's what they mean by mass hysteria, panic, and that's what they want right now. Those elites, they want to cause fear. They want fear in people. That's how you move a bunch of cattle or sheep or chattel through fear. All right, or through a shepherd. But Esau, is, of course, their mechanism, their tool of choice is fear. All right. It says from Virginia to Florida, Alabama, stations are reporting that they've sold out of gasoline. So we wake up tomorrow, Tuesday. So they said when the markets open Monday, that's when we're gonna see all of this. So now Tuesday's coming in, and that's when you should see a lot of stores not having any gas. All right, so you gotta be prepared for that. Um, it says sold out of gasoline as supplies in the region dwindle and panic buying sets in. An estimated 7% of gas stations in Virginia were sold out of fuel as of late Monday, according to Gas Buddy analyst Patrick Dehan. The White House said in a statement it is monitoring the situation and directing government agencies to help alleviate any shortages. All right. Colonial Pipeline Co. That's the company. Colonial Pipeline Co. And they handle 45% of the East Coast gas distribution. All right. Colonial Pipeline Co. It said it's manually operating a segment of the pipeline running from North Carolina to Maryland and expects to substantially restore all services by the weekend. All right. But what that does is it causes fear and panic. And whoever did this hacking, that's what they wanted. You know, or some money got moved around. Things we can't even see. Or stuff dealing with insurance. Yeah, that's how these Edomites get paid. All right. But either way, these things are coming upon the earth. You're gonna have high prices, hyperinflation. Anything budges in the American economy right now that goes wrong. You know, matter of fact, I'm gonna get that. All right, this is Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth. All right, so now is the time that we're supposed to remember the Creator. Who's our Creator? Yahweh. And his son Yahushua. We're supposed to remember him. And the only way we're able to remember is because he gave us what? Grace and mercy in his word. All right, he reminded us. So his elect are going to remember him. While the evil days come not. All right, so the evil days are here, but it's still not really happening on a major scale yet. All right, the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. And that's what they're going to say. They have no pleasure in these times. What's that? Judgment Day, time of Jacob's trouble. All right. So, people ain't gonna have no pleasure in those days. I'm gonna skip down to get to the point. It says in verse 5, and also when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fears shall be in the way, right? You see, they talking about outside threats out of space, and they see the judgment coming upon the earth. All right. It says, and also when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fears shall be in the way. See, fears are in the way now. And gas shortages, that's a fear because people buy these cars for $30,000 and they pay leases on it for $30,000 or $50,000 cars. And Jake, instead of investing in a house or jewelry, like gold, pure gold or silver, or assets or ETFs, they'll invest in a car which depreciates, you know, or instead of getting a watch or something like that, that appreciates with time, or wine, like you see 50 Cent buying I forgot how much it cost, but it was a lot of money, I think $100,000 bottle of wine. So why? Because wine appreciates with time. The older the wine gets, the more money it's worth. So that's why you put your money into wine and different things like that. So what Jake could do, they'll buy cars because that's that what low self-esteem. They get a car, they feel like they made it. They get a job, they feel like they made it. And now what? So all Esau has to do is just take it away, or act like they're taking it away. Just shake it up a little bit. And then what is that causing? Fear. All right. And fear shall be in the way. Stuff like this, man. Hacking going on, cyber wars. From these nations. And the almond tree shall flourish. And the almond, when you hear about the almond tree, that represents prophecies. All right. The almond tree, meaning the prophecies are going to flourish. They're flourishing right now. And the grasshopper shall be a burden. All right. So a grasshopper is something so small, if it just basically anything that moves in this place is going to be a burden. Something like this gas pipeline shortage, that's going to affect the economy. Like anything going to cause this place to fall apart and cause hysteria and panic. All right. And the grasshopper shall be a burden. Something very small. Anything small shall be a burden to this place, cause it to fall apart. And desire shall fail, right? That goes with Ecclesiastes 12:1, where it said people gonna have no pleasure in these times. And everything that they desire, what? 401ks, graduations from these colleges, um, all these events and holidays that they celebrate, all their desires are gonna fail. But the scriptures say those that desire um, the kingdom, they're going to receive their reward. Those that desire righteousness, those that desire Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, you know, and to see this place be destroyed or be judged, then hey man, they're going to receive their reward, what they're looking for. But others, their desires shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and mourners go about the streets. Okay, so there's gonna be a lot of death out here from what's coming. All right, this is the word hysteria, because that guy in the last video, he said, yeah, there's gonna be mass hysteria, there's gonna be panic, mass panic, and this is what it is. Look at it, y'all, pandemic part 2. And, Jake be panicking. It says, what is a mass hysteria? In sociology and psychology, mass hysteria is a phenomenon that transmits collective illusions of threats. All right, so that's what this is: collective illusions of threats. You have real threats, and then you have illusions of threats. That's what Esau is using. They're using the media with the illusions of threats, and then they also putting real threats out there. It says whether real or imaginary, through a population and a society as a result of rumors and fear. All right, so it's a movement that's going to transmit to a mass group of people instead of just a household or just a certain, individuals. It's going to be a whole country where it's going to transmit collective illusions of threats, whether real or imaginary, through a population and society as a result of rumors and fear, man. All right. That's why he said mass hysteria. So people gonna be bugging out, talking. You hear about gas? You hear about this? You hear about that? This is about to happen. Well, this ain't about to happen. All right. I just did a lesson on this last week, where I went into, or a couple weeks ago, where I went into the drought that's upon her waters over here in America, man. The big drought that's happening in the West Coast. Now you have this happening in the East Coast. All right. A major drought happening in the West Coast, and it spoke about this being Babylon. All right. I'm gonna read this real quick. Jeremiah 50 and 34. Their Redeemer is strong. See, our Redeemer, the one that's going to deliver us, he's strong. He's powerful. All right. Yahweh of armies is his name, the Lord of armies. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. So the Lord gonna give rest to Jerusalem, his people, the elect. All right, but he's gonna what? Disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. And Babylon is America, and everybody that's sitting here quietly and resting and loving this place and loving it up in America, or living it up, off the devil's riches, instead of taking their daily bread, and living, doing their work quietly and living in the spiritual sanctuary of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Instead, they trust in Egypt. They trust in chariots and horses. All right. That's why scriptures say their desires shall fail, but our Redeemer is strong. And he's going to disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon, meaning wake these people the hell up. But they're going to wake up to fear. All right. A sword is upon the Chaldeans, saith Yahweh, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon. So it's upon Esau and also the people that are in this place, the other nations. Right? The melting pot called America or Babylon. All right, it's a place of business. That's what it's known as. And upon her princes and upon her wise men. See, how can he have any business now if you have all the cars are stopped, meaning gas pumps aren't pumping, and upon her princes and upon her wise men, a sword is upon upon the liars, and anybody that's teaching false doctrine in this place, coming up with their own imaginations, and also going against the scriptures, they're considered liars. All right, and they shall dote, and they're gonna lack understanding, and that's when you get hysteria, to where everybody panicking and not knowing what's going on. A whole country full of people in the dark, spiritually. Things happening upon the earth, judgments are happening, cyber warfares are happening, and people not gonna be able to put two and two together. All right, so it says they shall dote, and that's what it means to dote, D-O-T-E, to lack understanding. All right, a sword is upon her mighty men, their police, their military, and they shall be dismayed. So they ain't gonna be able to do nothing about it, because it's gonna be a spiritual battle, cyber, and also on a carnal level, cyber warfare. germ warfare, whatever, other methods that they're using. But this is a spiritual judgment coming from Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. He said, what? I shall not meet thee as a man. And he said, what will I if it already be kindled? So you know what his will is for this place to be destroyed. You see a fire starting and different embers of flames popping up. You know there's about to be a wildfire in the woods. All right, so you know what his intentions are. 37. Now today, the modern day horse, you deal with horsepower, you deal with what? Cars, planes. Now today, because back in the day in America, everybody would use horses and chariots. All right, so today, and they had to feed them. The fuel for them would be what? Different herbs and foods, provender for the horses and such. And the chariots, you had to fix the wheels, and they would jazz it up. But today you have what? Your cars and your trucks, and and same thing. But what fuels it? You ain't gonna put food in the damn car. Which you actually can. Certain things are called biofuel. You could use. But what they're using is petroleum. All right, little bacteria from the bottom of the ocean that they're all fighting over now. Called fossil fuel. All right. So now they're using that. It says what? A sword is upon her horses. See, now the Lord has a sword upon Babylon horses, their cars, their travel. All right. And upon their chariots. And upon all the mingled people that are in the midst thereof. I'll read that again. A sword is upon her horses and upon her chariots. All right. So you're going to have things that are happening. What? The manufacturing. You're going to have, what do you have that, man? The manufacturing crash, car manufacturers that, when the economy was shutting down, dealing with that. All right. Just like you have a real estate crash bubble that's happening right now as we speak. So we're in the midst of an economic crash of a society. All right. So a sword is upon her horses, and the word sword deals with what? Destruction. Okay. And upon their chariots, to all the people that are mingled in the midst of this place, and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her, and they shall become as women. A sword is upon their treasures. All right. So by women, it means what? They're going to be weakened, or they're going to be made into servants. As a sword is upon her treasures, so upon the economy and the dollar, the riches of this place, and they shall be robbed, man. So this place is being robbed through cyber warfare. All the riches that was given to America through the dollar, all right, through the Bretton Woods agreements, through the Nixon shock, through the petroleum deals, whatever was set up to make America rich. Now it's all being taken and stripped away from this place.